Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is that time. Welcome to Evening Markets. I'm your coach, Coach Tim. We'll jump into the markets tonight, see what we got. See what we got with a T. To see everybody here this evening. Father, we thank you for tonight. Yeah, we ask that the heavens are opened up. We declare that the heavens are opened up over this broadcast, that you would control the stream, that we take control of the atmosphere and the stream, that you would impart wisdom and knowledge and understanding tonight to help us to be effective in these markets. Let your spirit go before us, be with us in our rear guard. And we, for this, give you all praise, honor, and glory in the name of Jesus. Amen. Well, good evening, everyone. I see you coming into the chat. Good evening, Diana. Mia is here. Good evening. Judy, good evening. Dr. Ann is here. Good evening. Corey's here. Good evening. Dr. Tora, good evening. It is our charting crew this morning. Let's get some chart hour, that chart time in so we can be proficient. Oh, tell mom, hey. Yeah, good. Tell mom I said hi as well. And I hope she's doing well. All right, I'm going to open up my chart here. And we're going to see what we see tonight. All right, all eyes on Nikkei, as we normally do. All eyes on Nikkei. Who got the 7 o'clock candle? This is like routine. It's like when Nikkei moves, it moves. So who got the 7 o'clock candle? 7 o'clock candle was red, and 8 o'clock candle is red as well. So we're about 6 minutes into the 8 o'clock, and it looks like 8 o'clock is still pushing down. So place those orders or in shorts on Nikkei. All right. So it's a continuation. 8 o'clock is acting as a continuation candle to the 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock push down, 8 o'clock is going to do the same. All right, for timing purposes, we know that we're going to get a retracement. We're probably going to look around, at 30-minute mark for the retracement. And then 9 o'clock may push up, 10 o'clock. And then, this may be one of those nights where we just hold the sales once it comes back up and retest. All right, let's look at a couple levels. We'll get into some questions and whatnot. And Judy, you got in. Nice. You got into it. Mia got into it as well. Tara's got into it. That 7 o'clock candle was vicious. Yeah, good job, y'all. Love to see it. Judy, it don't matter. Paper trade, if you saw it, that's what we got to train our eye to see it. So we got to get used to it. And paper trading is going to help you get used to it. Train your eye to see these type of moves. Yeah. All right. So what contract are we on? NKDU. And let me make sure I got that open. And it is September contract for Nikkei. We should be NKDU. We should be in December by now, but we're not. I guess all the volumes on September. So okay, we're good. We're not switching over to December yet. I think gold is the only one that switched over to December so far out of what we trade. All right. Let me get focused. Get focused, Tim. Get focused. Let's talk about this 8 o'clock candle. Talk about if we're going to have a trade tonight. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so you can see where we're at in space, and show you a few different levels that I got marked out here. Now, when we did our chart down, we know that we're coming down. It was a great move. We've been selling off. It's just look at that. For the week, we've been selling off all week long. It's been red. All right, so now we need a pullback. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's right there. It's like clockwork. when it is. You know, it's not like this all the time, but when it is, you can take advantage of it. Yeah, we love to see it. We love to see it. All right, so yeah, weekly was a straight line down. And so if you look at this straight line down, we talked about this monthly. We hit this level of resistance, came down, tapped that. And so now we're marking out other weekly or other levels that possibly could get hit. And so price has created a high, created that divergence there, and then it was a sell-off. Came back up and retraced. You can measure that retracement. If you don't want to get all of the retracement, I can understand why not. But since we're on the weekly, let's just measure it. Pull back all the way to 78, close to 78.6, not quite. But let's just say you wanted to pull down to here. Then you can get a 61.8. There, that's on the weekly. Go to the day. And we saw where price pushed up. We saw where price broke right here. We went to the retest, created that double top there, and then we began to sell down. Those sales presented a lot of great opportunities for us all week. So we've been in sales all week on Nikkei. And then when you scale that down to the 8-hour, we know that this was the top, right? When you scale that down to the 8-hour for this retest, you're asking yourself, are we going to create a bottom? So before we were talking about 37,000 being broke, that was broke. Now, what's the next level? So we have a few different levels in here, which are great levels. The next level is 36,000, possibly being hit by the end of tonight. And that's something that we're going to see. Or will we find support? All right. And that's always the caveat. You want to know where we're at in space. We do the same thing. I just did a quick, because we're on Thursday, we did a top-down analysis on Tuesday. We know where we're at in space. I just did a quick review of that. So nothing has really changed. And so if we find support and climb up above 37,000, that's one thing. But right now we're looking to join the movement. It's a selling movement. So we want to join that and see if we're going to go down to 36,000. Corey, I don't know why your chart doesn't look like mine. Make sure you have the right chart. Nikkei, I'm using a continuous chart. You may have a September contract, or you may have an old contract that's reading the numbers wrong. You should have a September contract. AKDU is what I'm using. All right, so we're on Nikkei. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to start to scale down. So we're at the 8-hour, going down to the 4-hour. I got my levels marked out. And these levels are just where liquidity was grabbed before. Former support resistance levels that price stopped at, and we and took off from. So those are the levels that we're going to be interested in visiting again. All right. Now, 8 o'clock did continue from 7 o'clock, but we're at a halt right now, which is fine. 4 o'clock has the TDI midway through. We had the big push down. We had the push down from here. We stopped at a shark fin. The shark fin has not played out, which tells us what? What does that tell us? It tells us that the buyers aren't there when you look at that. So break that down of where price is. We look at these candles and we compare that to TDI. All right, so TDI did a shark fin move on the 4-hour. Actually had the divergence there, and then price did push up. And TDI, the 4-hour TDI rose faster than the price action did. So we barely hit probably a 23.6, and TDI is already at the 50 level. Right, so that tells us that the sellers are there. We should have known that the sellers are there. That would have given you the opportunity for at the 7 o'clock hour to get into this sell down, right? Because the sellers are there. TDI is moving up really fast. All right, so sellers are still here. That's what TDI is showing us. We go down to the hour. Hour has the confluence up here. Let me get rid of this. This was last time we were together. All right, so up here we have clear resistance. That price is going up here. Resistance, that was the 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock pushed down off of that resistance. It retested. If we climbed on top, then yeah, we would be looking for the up. But we came down, we broke this structure here. So that's clear to see that this uptrend was broken really on this 7 o'clock candle. So 6 o'clock pushed down, and then 7 o'clock broke the. If we were trying to climb out of the uptrend, the 7 o'clock broke that. Right now, what is this gray line that was just looking left, seeing where those levels of support were breaking through that, right? And so that could be possible areas of testing. You know, right now you should be thinking, where are the sell fair value gaps if you want to get into this? The next one here is right here. Let me get rid of this. And let me clear my chart just so as we scale down, let's always have a clean chart. Clean mind, clean chart. All right, so sell fair value gap is here. Right, so that's the area that we're looking at possibly coming back into to get our orders filled if we're looking for orders. And it's been a great week. For me, I'm not really looking for too much orders because I've hit my goal for the week. And I don't want to give that back on Thursday and Friday. So, but I'm going to call it out if I see it. All right, so hours coming down is still coming down, has room to come down, right? So we want to see that hour at least be a shark fin or a touch of the bands before we consider going into buys. So if we get a pullback into this area, that'd be great if we did, if lower time frames can give us that. But we want to be in sales. Now, if I turn on the VWAP, you can see that that VWAP is standing right there in our fair value gap, our sell fair value gap. So that if you're looking for possible entries into this, that would be a great place to be. Safe side would be up here. And we know that we're going to create an equal low or a new low, right? So let's just look for a 2-to-1 on that. It's one of those ones where we want to go to sleep, right? And wake up in profit. All right, so this is a little dangerous. 36,000 is a psychological number. So I want to be a little bit above that. I don't want that to break through the night. So we'll go to 36,040 for that. And then, you know, are you thinking that we're going to break VWAP and come up and retest the open? Probably not. We've probably done that. So we don't have to, we can just pull up above this fair value gap, probably just above this candle right here. So that's pulled up just above that candle. And let's just look for that 1 to 2. So our target isn't that far down through the night. There we go. That's starting to look good. All right, 1 and 2 trade right there. So we're looking for the pullback. And if it starts getting aggressive during the 8:30 or going into the 9 o'clock, then we'll have to move that up and take the entry off of the off of this liquidity level up here. That's right around the open, if the open gets retested. All right, so we don't want to be early in here. We just want to be patient. All right, but we know the hour has room to push down. Everybody likes that. I like that. Everybody's talking about it. Let's stick with that. All right, we know that's good for structure of what we want to see. And we know that the MAs are, for those that do the sun up, sun down, that's right around the area where the cross happened. And let me go turn on an MA so you can see that the 50 is sitting up here, the 1 hour 50. That's what we rejected off of up here. And then we start to push down from there. So usually that should go to create a new low. Nothing down here to stop it. All right, let's just verify that. Okay, I'm wrong. Weekly 50 is what we're rejecting off of right now. Glad I turned that on. So we are rejecting off a weekly 50. Now, if we push past that, we're gravy. But right now, if we push past that, that'll be nice. But right now, we're rejecting off a weekly 50. If you look at this, now that I'm looking at this structure, y'all see that? Kind of glad I turned that. Now, this is higher time frame. I'm not saying it's going to play out today, but I just want you to see the structure here. Right, so everybody take a look at that. That's currently, that weekly 50 is sitting at a level of support, previous resistance. So that's the thing, right? So we got to get through that piece of it. Now, one thing well, it's not really there. I mean, we're on a weekly 50. It looks like we're going to push through it, but we at least came down there. If we break below it, that may be something, and it does look like we're going to break below it. So I'm not going to consider that for tonight. Not on whenever you go to bed, 8 hour move, let's call it, 8 hours of sleep. I'm not going to really consider a weekly support level, but that level does look good, doesn't it? Like when we come down to the day, you see that level of support here. You see this candle where it got support. You drag that over. That's currently where we're sitting at. All right, so that's something that you really don't want to ignore for tonight. That's just something. Resistance, support, obvious level of contention there. If we scroll down into the lower time frames, we'll probably see some resistance and support. That's currently where we're at. So that's the caution, but I'm not considering that right now. So let's go back down to the hour. We know that that's there. Right now, the reason why I was scrolling down, we found the weekly 50 that we're sitting on. All right, so that's just the caveat. But everything else, I believe, is above it. Yeah, so this looks good. Like that 8, 9, 10 hour, 800 looks like a target. That's right where we got. That's right where we got our take profit at. That's the 8, 9, 10 hour, 800. And we did come up and then we came right back down. So sellers are still here. And we're just, what are we doing? We're building confluence, right? In this charting time, we're building confluence. Stellar momentum. Is there enough in the market to bring this back up? Doesn't look like it right now. And we're just going down, and we got nice rejections off of that. We got rejections right here, here, here. So that 8, 9, 10 hour, 800 has been a nice rejection area. All right, so we're building confluence at this level. Right, we do like that level. We hit it once off of this bounce, came down, we bounced up a little bit. We're gonna come down, smack that again through the night. All right, that's the idea, at least. So I do like that, 8, 9, 10. All the other MAs are above. And that's what we're looking for right now. We're just making sure. Now, when we get lower, we may find something below just because it's a lower time frame, but no, everything is above. So that's another confluence. You know, you start talking about the average price is trading below the averages, the moving averages. Important confluence. I don't know if that's enough for you when you back test. Is that enough for you to get in the trade? For me, it is. Like the weekly is the only thing that I'm finding support, but it looks like we're breaking through it. And then once you get from that, you know, you go down to the 8, 9, 10 hour. The other MA on the 800 is at 800 on the 8, 9, 10 hour. Like that's enough confluence for me. So I'm going to turn off the MAs because all the other MAs are trading above it. Right. And so when you back test, be like, what will make you get into this trade? That for me is something. All right, so we're letting this is pushing up. Hour has, we said hour has room to push down. And it's finding some support in there. I mean, it has wicked off of that, which is a thing, but we'll see if that level of support is going to hold. So I'm talking through this with you just so everybody see. If you have questions as I'm talking through this, let me know. But this is the charting time. All right, so we're finding some liquidity down here. And that liquidity has pushed us to the top of the range before. So 8 o'clock, we're right at that, close to about 4 minutes away from 8:30. Close to the 8:30 mark. And so we're going to see once that 30-minute candle closes, if we're going to still get the push down, or if we're going to come back and grab some liquidity. That's where we want it at. We don't want to take it right off a liquidity level. All right, and I'm gonna go back and show you the safe play here, but let's continue to go. All right, 45 minutes touching the bands, really not giving us any kind of signal either way. 30-minute is, will that be a turnaround candle on the next 30-minute? We do want that. That would be great if that happened. If the next 30-minute candle opens up and starts to climb, and it climbs really fast. All right, so if that TDI starts climbing really fast, it tells us that the sellers are in the market. Give us a clue. That's all we want. Give us a hint. So if it starts climbing really fast, then that tells us the sellers are still in the market. We can adjust our entry. All right, so we're going to look for that on the 30-minute, 15-minute. And when I say, yeah, you have consolidation here, you have low range, top of range, but really the way I'm looking at it is we tried to climb out of a hole here. And so I'm not really looking at the consolidation. I'm looking at the failed attempt to climb out and the lower highs that were produced, or the equal highs, and then we fell out and broke this trend. So I'm looking for us to come up, retest that, and continue to fall down. I'm on the side of the bears right now because it's not really showing us anything else. I'm going to give you some other confluence as we start going through here, but I just wanted to point that out because the way I have it marked, it looks like consolidation, but that's the way I'm looking at it, is that a trend has been broken. All right, 15-minute shark fin. We're going to see how fast this shark fin comes up, right? We're starting to get that push up now. Let's see how fast that 15-minute comes up. Now, some of you may say, hey, Tim, we're on a liquidity level. I know it's counter trend. I want to catch this move up. I'm not going to be mad at you. Remember, this is a fair value gap right here. We're going to push up into the fair value gap. So if you do that, just be mindful that, be prepared to get out of it, you know, that it's not a counter trend move. All right, but I understand if you are taking that move. Back into that sell fair value gap. And let's, just so we don't get confused, let's mark that as red, dark red, as a sell fair value gap. All right, 1 minute from the 8:30 candle. And we're starting to get that push up. 15-minute shark fin is forming. Some of y'all have, I'll go over the MAs in a second. Some of you have already entered into the buys and said, I want that 15-minute fair value or a 15-minute push up into the fair value gap. All right, 10-minute, and that's what I love to see. This is exactly what I love to see. Like to see that we got the shark fin divergence. Divergence, you always want to locate where that 50 is. 50 is way up here. So usually counter trend divergence is a little different, but usually we can get up to, which would be great because that's, you know, everybody sees this fair value gap. Stop losses, you know, the stop hunt would be just a little bit above that. That's right where that 50 is. Grab liquidity in this area, retest this area right here, and then fall down. So that would be a great entry if that does happen. But what I like here on the divergence, look how fast the 10-minute is climbing on the TDI. We barely went anywhere here, but TDI is climbing real fast. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see on the 15-minute. We want to see that on the 15-minute. Look how 15-minute barely moved, but look how fast the TDI is climbing. All right, that's what we want to see. So that's giving us confidence into those sales. 10-minute, 5-minute, look at that. Look at there. Hopefully y'all seeing this. Like, this is good charting time here. This is great example that we found selling pressure, but prices, the buyers are trying to climb, but they're barely climbing and the TDI is flying. Right, so TDI is flying, almost exhausted the 5-minute below the VWAP. And so that's what we want to see. We want to see that TDI come down slow when the price is falling and come up fast when price is rising. All right, then 3 minutes, probably as low as we need to go. Tells us everything that we need to see. 50-minute feet, 3-minute 50 is right here, right up in our sell fair value gap. And then 1 minute is already diverged. So that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Now, and that's what we'll continue to keep an eye on. If you take it here, it's just at the beginning of the sell fair value gap. Can I understand why? But this rejection off of the weekly 50 right here, let's just give it be a little patient with it. Especially if you're thinking about holding it tonight. I probably will do that, hold it through the night. But I want to do that towards the top of that. If it was a Tuesday, I would probably take it here. But because it's Thursday and I made money throughout the week, I want to be conservative and take it up here. All right, around 36.9 area. All right, everybody with me? All right, settings for the MAs. Now make sure that I'm here to answer questions, but make sure you're going through the videos and the material because we go through those settings on the free videos, all the MAs. But the MA that we use is when you go over to the indicator, is EMA SMA. And on the EMA SMA, hit the indicator button here. And it is, just type in EMA SMA. EMA/SMA. Yeah, there it is. Multiple EMA SMA by 10404. When that'll come up over here, hit that gear button. And we use the SMA 1, 2, and 3. You can color it however you want to color it, whatever makes sense to you, but it's SMA 1, 2, and 3. Simple moving averages. Then we use the 50 for 1, 200 for 2, and 800 for 3. So on the inputs, SMA 1, 2, 3, you'll see 50, 200, 800. And then on the style, just make sure that the rest are unchecked. You don't want those checked. The only thing that's checked is the 1, 2, and 3. And that's the settings for the MAs. All right, so 15-minute has room to push up. We're going to be patient and wait for 36.9 as a possible entry, somewhere around VWAP as well. Probably want to move that up, right? So that's one entry, but this is the other entry, which will allow us to pull up above this as well. So both will be good. We'll adjust that accordingly. Yeah, that's what we got. We're over the, let's look at that 30-minute. 30-minute is pushing down. So 8 to 8:30 pushed up, 30-minute is pushing down. Touch the fair value gap, it is pushing down. All right, did all that make sense to everybody? What questions do you have? Who is in this trade? Who is not in the trade? What are you waiting on? What are you doing? All right, I said I wanted to show you a few other things too. All right, so one of the things is where we are percent-wise. So we know that we're selling off heavy. Opens way up here. We tested it a number of times and then we fell down. We're at negative 1.9%. So the one thing I look at here is I don't expect that we're going to break. London may do it, but I don't suspect that we're going to break above the open and start climbing up without any news tonight. So what I'm looking at is getting in at a cheaper price, and it's like running your business. You sell a pair of pants for $10. If it costs you $10 to buy the pants, then price is too expensive. But if it costs you $3, you can make $7 per pair. Well, that's pretty good. So right now, this negative 1.09% drop, that's kind of expensive to me to buy into this position. Because when we wake up, we're expecting at least a % change through the night. So we want to see that around 2%. So I would rather see this go back and retrace and get to about 0.5%, 0.4% change and enter in around there, or even around 10% change, because we know that it's going to go back to 1% through the night, right? And so when we talk about price being a little cheaper for your business model, as it pushes up, when it gets around that 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.3%, then I got to start consider it's going to be enticing to the sellers. Price is getting a little cheaper, right? So that's what we want to wait for, is for price to get a little cheaper. All right, so we'll wait for this 30-minute, and that may be around that 9:30, not 10 o'clock candle. If you're still up, I doubt I'll be up. I'm tired tonight. Tell you what. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Judy. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. One of the things, so that's the piece that I wanted to show you, is that % change of coming in at, like, it was one thing on Tuesday, price was right around negative like 0.1%. And then I said it's going to be between negative 1 and 2% when we wake up, because that's how much it normally drops when it does range or when it does move. And so it's the same thing tonight, is that, kind of want that to get down to like that point, right where the indices are. Get around 0.5, 1.5. 0.2%. And then let's consider taking it. All right, so tomorrow is NFP. For the rest of the night, I wanted to talk. If there's no questions on Nikkei, we know that what level I want to enter in on. If there's no questions on that, I want to talk about tomorrow on NFP and start going through some of the moves on NFP, specifically on gold. So let's go to the 4 hour on this, and let's just look at pros and cons on this. And so price on do this chart time. Got some fun stuff coming up that we'll be announcing in the near future. But for now, let's talk NFP. So NFP tomorrow, dollar's hanging out. We got to see if dollar's going to stay up above, I guess you could say 105. That's the area that it's been retesting for a while. So you see that area where it comes down, dip down once below that and dip below 100. Did that once in the last 2 years. So NFP tomorrow is going to be unemployment or non-farm payroll report, and what levels dollar's going to hit is going to be in focus. And so I don't want to really talk indice levels because there's a lot of stuff at play there. The 18th rate cut is at play, but also Tesla and Nvidia and Apple's at play as well with the stocks. So don't want to talk indices too much. For NFP, I want to talk gold. That's the only thing I'm looking at is risk on, risk off of gold. Happens, yeah, we do this all the time. It's like there's no reason to add anything else to it. If the report, there's three ways that the report's going to come. It's going to come in the range, in the forecasted range, below the range, or above the range. Right? I just want to cover the two scenarios, above the range and below the range. I don't want to cover in the range, because in the range we're just going to go back to structure. So if it's below the range, it's going to weaken the dollar. The dollar is going to fall to retest 105. Right, so that's this level here. So you'll see a push down, and this is going to happen at 7:30 Central. And so we're really just going to get a spike down to a level, then it's just going to continue wherever it's going to go. Right now, it was trying to climb out, fell below it. We'll hang out around this area, but we've got to see if we're going to retest some of these lows here. All right, that is if it is a negative report below the range. For negative report, that means that gold is going to push up, and gold is going to that's hanging out around 25.40. That we may see gold push up above 25, go into that 26, maybe approach 27 range, if the dollar starts to fall out. All right, so that's what we call a risk off environment. Risk off. Say it with me, risk off. Risk is off the dollar. So if they take the risk off the dollar, everyone's going to be putting the risk on to gold. So you're going to see gold spike up. Now, if a report comes in negative and it is a risk off environment, I usually switch the music after the 30-minute mark. I didn't do that. All right, if that is off the dollar and we start to dollar starts to come down, we're going to put that risk on to gold. If gold during that risk off environment begins to go down first, we call that a dumping pump, where it's grabbing liquidity first so that it can make its run to the upside. All right, so you're going to see that happen. And there's two ways to trade it. You can trade the breakout to the upside, or you can wait for the move to happen and catch the V pattern retracement. So let me draw that out for everybody. Is that if the report comes out negative, you may see gold retrace for a little bit and then it'll start spiking up. So you'll get that big spike up. You can trade that spike up, just catch the momentum. It's more better once you see the retracement. It gives you that A pattern back down to retest where it started. All right, so the other thing that we're looking at tomorrow is if it's a risk-on environment, a positive report above the range, it's going to shoot the dollar way up. If the dollar goes way up, gold should push down. And the way that's going to look is it may be a pump and dump where gold starts to pump up, hits a level, and then drops down. You can trade that drop down, or you can trade the V pattern back up, because it probably will retrace at some point back to where it started. All right, so those are the only two moves that I'm looking at for tomorrow. Is risk on, risk off environment for gold. And yeah, pay attention to those two. Any questions on that? So this is the all-time high mark on gold. Risk on environment is going to break that, and we're going to test those all-time highs, come up above 2,600. All right. That's risk off environment. Risk on environment, we may get a pump up to that level and then a sell down to that level. All right, so either one is likely. It's been a good week, everybody. It's been a good week. My accounts are up in that 5-figure range for the week, and I'm happy about it. Not excited about taking a trade tonight, so we may end the call a little bit early if there is no questions. Going back to this Nikkei trade, we are pumping up into we've got our first rejection off of VWAP. This is the idea that I like. I really like, let me do it like this because I don't want to mess this up. I really like this. Really like that. And medium like this. So those would be the two plays. Is either up here, so I can pull up above the stop. Depends on how it comes up. And look at the 30-minute, how that comes up. How fast that comes up, how fast the 15-minute comes up, so that we can look for entering that trade and going to sleep. All right, that's what we got for tonight. We're going to end it a few minutes early. Appreciate everyone being on the call this morning. We will be back live tomorrow morning for Terrace and Friends. And yeah, good job tonight, everyone. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.